welcome everybody. It's summer baseball. It's Legion baseball, American Legion action here on QCTV Sports. Along with Pete Hayes, I'm Jim Erickson. We're coming to you from Champlin Park High School as it's Coon Rapids Legion against Champlin Region. And good evening, everybody. We've got a beautiful sunshiny day. Happy 4th of July weekend. We are past the weekend now. My weekend just ended today. And, of course, Pete Hayes, as a retired person, it's always a weekend for you, Pete. How you doing? Good to see you.
I'm not sure what day it is today, but I do know that it's a beautiful summer night, and the field here at Champlin is looking magnificent, and we're expecting a good ball game tonight. So you can't ask for more than that.
Yes, no doubt about that. We're going to get the national anthem here shortly. Starting lineups are being announced. I'd like to send a closed circuit to the truck, is that I do not have a monitor and I do not have video on my monitor. Just an FYI here. But we will work through that. And as the teams are being announced, Pete, take a look at this Champlin team. We saw them against Osseo. That was a 5-3 victory right here on QCTV. Since then, they've gone 4-2. They beat Maple Grove, a nice win, 9-1. And then they went to that prestigious Delano 4th of July tournament. They went 4-2 and took second place as they lost a couple of games to Wyzetta in that one, Pete. But this Champlin team, after going to state in the high school season, they are continuing to play well right into summer.
Yeah, they have an excellent team. I had a chance to do their high school state tournament game against Andover, and they ambushed Andover that day, and they looked really good. I know that they have a lot of players coming back next year, and I see that most of those kids are playing this summer, so I'm expecting a really good team and excited to watch them play tonight.
Champlin is 11-3 on the Legion season. Meanwhile, for Coon Rapids, coming in at 1-8, struggling a little bit here this season, looking to get their second win of the season here tonight, as they are the road team. They'll be batting here in the top of the first inning. The Champlin Legion team being coached by Spencer Robinson, and the head coach of the Coon Rapids Legion baseball team is Matt Mossy. Both of these teams will be playing in the Gopher Classic coming up this weekend, beginning on July 11th. That is prestigious. A lot of teams, many of them from outside the area, outside of the state, for the Gopher Classic. That is really a big deal when you talk about Minnesota. Not just Minnesota American Legion baseball, but there are teams from all over the country coming in for this one.
Yeah, there really is, Jim. I had a chance to watch a little bit of that last year at Castle Field in Anoka. Teams from Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, and they're not just teams from those states. They're some of the best teams from those states. So it's a great, great tournament.
Coon Rapids, they will be playing at the Shakopee in the Shakopee pool down at Shakopee at their field that they have down there. And for Champlin, they're going to be at the University of Northwestern, and they'll be playing in that pool down there. They open up against Mankato National on Friday at 4:30. Meanwhile, the Coon Rapids Legion team, they'll open up against the host Shakopee coming up later on this week. Here comes Coon Rapids, 1-8 on the season. Their lineup: Reese Sharp, the right fielder, leading off. Batting second and second base, Bryce Karen. Batting third out in center field is Jacob Califoot. For Coon Rapids here, cleanup left fielder Michael Campbell. Batting fifth, the pitcher Braden Grisey. The catcher is Hayden McCauley, batting sixth. Batting seventh at short, Hayden Lundquist. In the number 8 spot is the first baseman Jeremy Birch. And batting ninth at third base is Jack Chapeau. So it's Sharp and Alex Berg, the left-hander, delivers strike one here for Champlin. And Berg has looked good here this year. Talked to Spencer Robinson about that, and he's been impressed.
Yeah, he's a good-looking left-handed pitcher, throws a lot of strikes, and that's what he's doing to start off here, is 0-2 count to start out the ball game.
He got ahead, then he threw the changeup, and it's 0-2 here to Sharp. And the Alex Berg pitch, just off the end of the bat for Sharp, and he fouls it back, and it stays no balls and 2 strikes.
It's nice to see George throw that changeup. To be successful at this level, you need to be able to have a 3-pitch mix, that fastball, curveball, and then you cannot be afraid to throw that changeup.
Get you the fielders behind Alex Berg here tonight. Berg delivers up and away. And now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Beautiful night for baseball. Game time temperature here in Brooklyn Park, 83 degrees. Some fair weather clouds. 1-2 pitch, fouled back.
Well, being a duck hunter, I always love watching the ducks land out there when it starts getting dark out in left field. So besides having a beautiful field, I also get to watch the ducks land. That's an old guy talking right there, isn't it?
We have to alert our camera people to watch for ducks. Actually, in my book, any waterfowl. Here's the pitch down low, and that'll even the count here at 2 strikes. If an ugly Canadian goose comes in for a landing, I want to see that too. 2-2. Hit in the air to right center field. Wexeth is out there here tonight for Champlin. He drifts over to his right into right center and makes the catch, 1 out.
Yeah, Coon Rapids trying to get something going here. Tough season so far for them, and coming in at 1-8. So you really want to get on the board here early and try to hold on.
Cal Oakley is behind the plate here for Champlin. Luke Carlson in third. Greer's at short. Sandals at second base. Janisch is the first baseman tonight. The first pitch to Price Karen, the batter here for Coon Rapids, and he takes ball 1. DeLong, George, and Wexeth out in the outfield here for Champlin. That'll bounce its way to the backstop. And it's 2 strikes.
Yeah, it is a beautiful night for baseball. A little bit of a wind out here. It's not going to really make a difference at all.
2-0 delivery is on the outside corner. 2 strike to Price Karen, who's playing at shortstop here today. Coon Rapids, both of these teams have busy weeks this week with that Gopher Classic coming up, where you get 5 games in pool play. You're guaranteed you're playing 5 games and whatever it is, 3 or 4 days. That can be very stressful on your pitching staff. And head coach Spencer Robinson mentioned that was kind of what happened in the Delano tournament. It just kind of ran out of arms. And this one's going to be low and away. Ball 4 on the 3-1 pitch. So first base runner here for Coon Rapids tonight in the bottom of the first inning. A 1-out base runner, and here's Jacob Califoot.
Yeah, you need a bunch of pitchers for that tournament, and that's some of those teams from outstate. They come in with a whole bunch of pitchers, and Coon Rapids doesn't have a whole lot, and as far as pitching goes, and they'll throw some arms out there. Champlin's a little bit better set up for this tournament.
Califoot out in center field here this evening for Coon Rapids. First pitch swinging, popped up. Foul territory. Oakley shielding up against the sun and then lunges backwards and makes the play. Not an easy play for a catcher. But Oakley made it seem pretty easy, and there's 2 down.
Yeah, nice job by Oakley. That's what you teach a catcher, always to get your back to the infield and not face the infield as you catch the ball, because it usually drifts back. And he did a nice job getting underneath that one.
That'll leave it up to Michael Campbell. Karen still at first. Janisch holding with him there. Coon Rapids batting in the top half of the first, just underway, and the pitch is high and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Coon Rapids, they play Blaine tomorrow at home, at Rogers Thursday, and then they go to Shakopee to start that tournament down there. And it's up and away, 2 balls and no strikes.
With that being the case, Jim, I'm having to think that they're probably not going to want to run these pitchers too long so they can bring them back this weekend. They're probably going to piecemeal it together here tonight.
The 2-0 pitch is a strike, 2-1, almost where you see more of a bullpen game, right? Where a guy pitches a couple innings here, a couple innings there.
That's kind of what I'm expecting, but I could be wrong.
2 balls and 1 strike. Swing and a miss, throw down, and that's going to be in time for the out. 3rd out of the inning. It was a swinging strike for Campbell, and then thrown out, picked off at first base. Price Karen with a great throw by Cal Oakley. And for Coon Rapids here in the top half of the first inning, no runs, no hits, and with the pickoff, nobody left on. 1/2 inning. Coon Rapids nothing. Champlin coming to the plate. Along with Pete Hayes, I'm Jim Erickson. Great to be with you here as the Champlin Park Legion team will stroll to the plate here in the bottom half of the first inning. And we'll take a look at their lineup here right out of the bat. Leading off and at second base, Brockton Sandel. Batting second at third base for Champlin is Luke Carlson. Batting third, center fielder Reese George. Number 4 spot is the DH, Ty McGee. Batting fifth is Caleb Greer, the shortstop. Batting sixth at first base, Max Janisch. Out in right field and batting seventh, Tristan Wexeth. Behind the plate, mentioned him, made a nice play in the top half of the inning. Cal Oakley is batting eighth, and batting ninth out in left field is Paul DeLong. So again, Champlin, Sandel, Carlson, George, McGree, Greer, Janisch, Wexeth, Oakley, and DeLong. And they will face Braden Grisey. Tall left-hander, good size. We'll see what he has here tonight against Champlin.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to see him a couple times. Actually, he faced us during the high school season, and he has some funky stuff. You know, his biggest problem is his control. So he's going to need to get ahead of batters, so he has an opportunity to throw his curveball a little bit more. But control is the big thing with him, and hopefully he'll be able to throw some strikes here tonight.
Out in the field tonight for Coon Rapids, Hayden McCauley's behind the plate. Chapeau's at third. Lundquist is the shortstop. Karen at second. Birch is the first baseman. And in the outfield, left to right for the Coon Rapids Legion here tonight, Campbell, Califoot, and Sharp. And here comes Champlin at 11-3 on the season. Brockton Sandell batting. The second baseman steps in to lead off the bottom of the first inning. Grisey's first pitch. Rope down the left field line. Fair ball on the chalk line and down toward the corner, but a nice job by Campbell out in left field, who was a late addition. Oh, they're going to say foul. Oh, my.
Well, I think everybody in the ballpark thought that was fair. But
including me, I saw some chalk. Unless it hit some bird dung down there, left of the
it's
left
the
of
ducks.
The foul line. Exactly,
it's the ducks.
Ducks were here laying their own lines earlier before the game. So that is a foul ball. One strike to Sandell, who steps back in and will take a floater outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. And mentioned we had some monitor issues here, technical issues up here in the booth. We don't have the benefit of the replay. At least for you and I, Pete.
Yeah, we would have been able to tell then, Jim, pretty clearly, I think.
Yeah, guys in the truck can take a look at it and let us know. 2 balls and 1 strike, that one in the dirt. So Sandell, Carlson, and George due up here. Bottom of the first here for Champlin.
Champlin Park has a lot of speed in the top of this lineup, so they get guys on. You look for them to be running.
2-1 delivery is up high. 3 balls and 1 strike. That Osseo game that we had here on QCTV a few weeks ago was a good, tight 5-3 game. Foul back to the right side. Now full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Osseo scored a couple of runs in the top of the 6th to narrow the gap a little bit. But Tilke, Henshin, and Oligmuller combining on what was just a 1-hitter. Osseo only had 1 hit in that game, and it was an infield hit, little bunt squibber in front of the plate. This one's going to be pulled foul. And count will ride along here full. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
You know, Osseo always has a good Legion team. It seems like kids come back from college and they have good coaching, and they struggled during the high school season until the playoffs, and then they got hot, but they always have a good Legion team.
3-2, and that one backdoor breaking ball attempted by Grisey stays out of the strike zone, so it's a base on ball. Sandell, who thought he had a base hit earlier, ends up on first base here with a free pass. And we'll go to the number 2 hitter in the order for Champlin, Luke Carlson. Another thing about the Osseo Legion, they also have a very active Legion as well. Their Legion, having been involved with them and have worked with them before, that always is a key and a help as well. It's not always necessary, but it certainly is helpful, as that one is certainly doesn't hurt. Up and out of the zone here, up and away here to Luke Carlson, ball 1-0.
He's got to get ahead. He can't be walking, men. Like I said, they like to run, so I expect him to go here real soon.
Nobody out in the pitch to Carlson. Called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike with George on deck. Ball got away from Grisey there. Nice follow-up. Backing up the play was Karen, the second baseman.
Yeah, that's why you always want to teach your center infielders to back up the pitch.
Yeah, always be ready. You see that happens in the major league sometimes. Throw over to first off of the first baseman Birch. Throw a little bit in on the runner. Sandell gets back, and he may have gotten hit with the ball a little bit. He's walking a little gingerly over there. Got hit in the back.
That doesn't feel good.
No. Walk around a little bit here. He'll be okay. He's back at first. Birch will hold with him there. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. Bottom of the first. Fastball is outside. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, now the advantage goes to the hitter. 2-1, sitting on that fastball.
Rosse's setting the pitch. Comes curveball. Evens the count at 2-2.
Yeah,
looking fastball, got the curve.
Absolutely. That was a little backdoor curveball right there that caught that outside corner.
2-2 delivery. Comes back with it this time high. Fills the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Luke Carlson during the high school season hit .450. That was the on-base percentage. His batting average, not too shabby, .380 for the third-place finishers in the state baseball tournament for Class 4A. Carlson takes a walk. That's back-to-back walks. 2 at-bats, 2 walks here. Runners at first and second for Champlin. And here's Reese George.
Yeah, good player for Champlin Park, and he's a junior. He'll be a senior next season.
Pitch is outside. Ball 1.
Yeah, if you're out in the field right now, Jim, you're saying please throw strikes. Throw some strikes. Let us make some plays for you.
Califoot, couple of feet towards left center. There goes the runner at second. Sandell will go in. Does not draw a throw, and runners will be at the corners. Carlson stays put at first. Carlson at first. Luke Carlson. Nick Carlson not in the lineup here tonight. Brockton Sandell down at third.
Yeah, he didn't even look him back there at all. So nice job by Sandell.
2-0 delivery, missed high. And now 3-0. Fastball tails outside. And George takes the walk. That'll load the bases. And that'll bring up Ty McGee, the DH, hitting for Alex Berg here tonight. And here comes Brian Johnston, assistant coach. Matt Mossy is the head coach for the Coon Rapids Legion, North Hennepin League, District 10. Brian Johnston, assistant coach, pitching coach. He's out there to have a chat with his infield here in this one tonight.
Yeah, just need some strikes right here. Get your guys activated a little bit. But the walks, they just don't help, especially to start off the game. And if you're a Champlin player, it's tough to stay patient. You're thinking, I want to go up there and hit, especially in this situation. But he has to stay patient and make sure he throws some strikes.
Well, what did the Metrodome black and white scoreboard tell us beginning in 1982? Walks will haunt.
Walks, yes, yeah.
And it wasn't just the scoreboard; it was Randy Newman on the organ. Without that, it would not have had the same effect either.
I'm thinking it probably wouldn't. That's funny. Randy Newman's name came up in our house the other day.
You got a pretty nice house then, obviously.
Yeah, yep.
Great people in it. If you're bringing up Randy Newman at your house just randomly. Here's Ty McGee, the DH, lifts a high fly ball to left center field. That is all the way to the fence on a couple of hops. Sandell had to hold. He'll score. Coming around third base is Luke Carlson. He'll score. It's going to go as a very long fly ball single. And George stops at second, McGee at first. McGee's over at first, thinking he got robbed of a base in his slugging percentage. But as it is, it's 2-0 Champlin.
Well, Califoot out in center field, he just kind of drifted, and the ball just kept carrying. You know, you try to teach your outfielders to run to the spot. You know, get yourself back there first, and he just kind of drifted, and that ball just drifted and landed for a single out in center field.
Here's a ball to right field. So Caleb Greer is retired. One down.
Well, throwing a couple of strikes here and giving his outfielders a chance to make some plays. So he needs to keep doing that. You need to get ahead, and then you can work.
I think the lead runner there, Reese George, was he just kind of thrown off by Califoot. He thought he was going to catch it. Here's a line drive to left field. That'll hop in front of Campbell. Everybody is safe, and the bases will be loaded. So McGee to second. Max Janisch was the batter there with a little line drive base hit to left. And that loads them here with Champlin. Already a couple of runs in, 2-0. And here's Tristan Wexeth.
You know, I'm not quite sure there on George. He was probably thinking he was going to tag, or I wasn't watching him. I was watching the lead runners. But, yeah, kind of odd for him to only end up on second base.
Yeah, he was playing it for a tag, and that he obviously thought it was going to be a routine catch, and that maybe you could take a base. One strike is the pitch here to Tristan Wexeth. Wexeth out in right field. One out here in the inning. That was Greer on the fly out to right. And a called strike to Wexeth. Evens it up at 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, another thing with Champlin, they got most of their high school kids playing here. A lot of times you lose those kids to club ball in the summertime, but they're all loyal to the town here and playing Legion baseball.
1-1 pitch. Check the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes now as that one misses. And club ball is a totally new thing to me. I know that they had it in softball. I don't know how many years have they had that in baseball, Pete, as the pitch comes in on the inside corner, and Wexeth looks at it for strike 3. So a strikeout for Grisey gets Wexeth looking, and 2 down.
I think it's been pretty prominent for 15 years, but within the last 5 years, they've really picked it up. But, you know, there's a lot of different club teams, and it depends what level you're at. You know, a lot of people think we need to play club so we get scouted, but if you're on Team 4, there's not a lot of scouts watching you there, and you're paying the same amount of money. You're on Team 1. Yeah, I get it, because that's where the scouts come and watch.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're kind of into it making money, isn't that? Isn't that what that's for?
Absolutely.
So the more people you get pay that money, doesn't matter how many teams. They can get as many teams as they want if you're charging people, tons of cash.
Well, I don't pretend to understand it, but if it's me, I'm playing right here, playing 40 games in the summer in about 6 weeks instead of playing 3 tournaments.
And playing with your buddies, too. Here's a roller to short. Lundquist's going to have a long throw. That'll be in the dirt. It'll be an infield hit here for the catcher, Oakley. So he's on at first base. Run had scored, and it's now a 3-0 Champlin score and lead. Janisch is over at second base. Oakley's at first, and the 9th Champlin batter to come to the plate, the left-handed swinging left fielder, Paul DeLong.
Well, it's important for them to get that third out right here. You don't want to fall behind any more than what they are right now. The bases loaded, a good opportunity to break this thing open here early.
And DeLong pulls it foul. Got out in front of that. 1 strike. Pete, do you have the Champlin lineup over there?
The Champlin lineup, I sure do.
Okay,
it's right here.
Thank you. We do have a courtesy runner over at first base here for Champlin. A slow breaking ball that just missed.
That pitch count's getting up there early here.
Kyle Brooks is the runner over at first, running for the catcher, Oakley. There's the 1-1 pitch in the air to right center. Pretty well hit, sharp on the run. They're not going to get it. That'll score 1. That'll score 2. And hustling into third and holding up there is Brooks, the runner for Oakley. 2 more runs in here for Champlin, and it's a 5-run first inning here for Champlin.
Once again, not a very good route run by the outfielders right there. I thought that ball was going to be caught, and he was nowhere near catching that ball. So you got to try to help your pitcher out a little bit better than that. But that ball was well struck by Paul.
So a 5-run inning. Here we go to the top of the order for Champlin. Runner goes. Pretty good lead there by DeLong, and he got a great jump. And he'll get a stolen base and not draw a throw, and runners will be at second and third.
Yeah, he kind of looked over at the third base coach and just gave him I went on my own because I knew I could steal that one. And third base coach acknowledged.
Well, he got off, like I said, just got a great jump. Got to full speed quickly. 2 balls and no strikes to Brockton Sandell, the leadoff hitter in the order. Walk, stole a base, scored a run, and a strike there by Grisey. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Carlson on deck if Sandell can get on, with it now 3 balls and 1 strike.
He's biting at the bit to swing the bat right now with those runners on second and third. Walked his first time up.
Little number back to Grisey. He'll play it cleanly. Couple of strides over to first, tosses it there, and Champlin retired bottom of the first. But a good start here for Champlin. A 5-run first inning, 5 runs on 4 hits, and they'll leave a couple on here in the first inning. As we go to the second, we played 1 here, and Champlin on their home field out to a 5-0 lead. Top of the second inning, Coon Rapids batting here against Alex Berg. A couple of left-handers battling here in this one. The sunshine of a Tuesday evening in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, Champlin Park High School, their beautiful baseball facility. Along with Pete Hayes, I'm Jim Erickson. Michael Campbell is the batter. He was at the plate when Price Karen got picked off on a nice throw by Oakley. The catcher for Champlin, who takes this pitch in his glove, misses. And it's a ball.
Now, if you're Champlin Park, you just want Berg to throw strikes. He scored 5 runs for him. Throw strikes, make these guys hit the ball.
Tried to get him to chase, did not go. Ball 4. Second strike given up here by Berg. Campbell is on, the leadoff runner here for Coon Rapids, and the pitcher, Braden Grisey.
Well, Grisey going to try to help himself out here. If you're Coon Rapids, you just want to compete. You want to go out there, chip away at this lead.
Janisch holding with the runner. Campbell getting his lead, and the breaking ball by Berg ends up in the dirt. Nice block by Oakley. Ball 1 to Grisey. And he gets around on one. Bouncing ball on the right side is foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, that running game's been pretty much eliminated for Champlin or for Coon Rapids. You're down by 5 runs in the second inning. You're probably not going to run too much.
1-1. Breaking ball, waits on it, rolls it to first. Janisch goes to second. We'll get the lead runner there. Throw just a little bit high with Greer covering. Didn't have a chance to try and turn 2, but they get the lead runner. And Janisch, a lot of times first baseman, what's going to happen there, their first instinct is just run to the bag. But Janisch did a nice job knowing that he could get the lead runner, maybe get 2, but they do get the lead runner 1 down.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a confident play, and that's the right play, is going to second base, trying to turn 2 right there. Like you said, Jim, a lot of first basemen will just take that sure out instead of throwing the ball. But nice job by Janisch, just threw the ball a little high.
Fielder's choice. Grisey is the runner over at first, and the batter is going to be Hayden McCauley doing the catching tonight. Home plate umpire doing some equipment adjustment. 5-0 Champlin, top of the second inning. Berg to McCauley, up and away, outside, ball 1. Called strike, throw down. Oakley already with a pickoff to his credit. Grisey gets back, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, Oakley's not afraid to throw it down there, and you always like a catcher like that. Keep those base runners alert.
1-1 pitch, swing and a miss. 1-2. Took a little something off, it appeared there. And that misses outside.
He came with that fastball, kind of tailed away to the outside. Evens the count up at 2s.
Lundqvist on deck for Coon Rapids. 2-2 delivery. Outside, Oakley again, quick snap throw down. And Grisey gets back. Count is now full to McCauley, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I'll be curious what he throws here. I'm thinking fastball, 3-2. Probably his most reliable pitch what I'm seeing so far.
3-2 is a called strike on the inside corner. McCauley gets rung up. 2 down.
Yeah, it looked borderline, but you have 2 strikes on you. You need to be ready to hit anything that's close. And it seemed to me he was more looking for a walk than wanting to hit the baseball.
Hayden Lundqvist, the shortstop, steps up here. Runner still at first. Grisey swing and a miss on the first offering from Berg. 1 strike.
Yeah, there's that changeup. He really likes to throw that. And being a left-hander, it's even more effective.
Berg ready to work, sets at the belt, delivers, and that one gets away from him. Up high and back to the backstop. Wild pitch. That'll move Grisey to second base.
Just missed.
I was going to let you do that. Just a bit outside, right? 1 ball and 1 strike. Foul to the right side. Out of play. 1-2. Left-hander Berg dangling that left arm. Comes the ball in the glove and a roller to short. Greer plants, throws, got him for the final out of the inning. Coon Rapids retired in the top of the second inning. No runs, no hits. They do leave one on with the base on balls here in this second inning. We go to the bottom of the second, 1.5 here so far. And again, Champlin 5-0 over Coon Rapids. Well, Pete, we were talking a little bit about the Gopher Classic and the number of teams that are involved. I don't even know the number, but I was just looking up the schedule. Take a look at the standings as we talk about the Gopher Classic, July 11th through the 15th. But Anoka, Bloomington, Eden Prairie, Shakopee, and Excelsior, one half of the sites. And then you have North St. Paul, McKnight Field, Legion Field there, University of Northwestern and Reynolds Field, Memorial Field in Prior Lake. In Victoria, they've got Poppets Field at Lions Park. Hopkins is utilizing Big Willow Field as well. And as we mentioned, Shakopee, of course, in their field. I can't remember the field. It's named after a guy who's just on the Fox 9 Town Ball, just off of 169. But that field also an outstanding facility, and those games will get rolling coming up on Friday. And again, Anoka Castle Field hosting once again. So they have picked out some of the best baseball venues here for the big Gopher Legion Baseball Classic beginning on Friday.
You know, they've really made this field into a really nice field. You know, it's kind of a miniature castle field, but tell you what, they take such good care of this infield and outfield, and the baseline, and it's just a really nice facility. And
of course, as broadcasters, I know you're relatively new. How long have you been broadcasting? Did you do games way back when in the old KANO radio days in Anoka? Did you dabble a little bit?
Well, no, I was actually in Black River Falls, Wisconsin, WWIS. That's back when Bob Euchre was actually semi-young. And I remember going to the Brewers game and had Bob Euchre say, "Listen to Brewers baseball on WWIS." And I got free bratwurst and beer, and I thought that was the greatest thing in the world.
Well, as we get ready here for the bottom of the second inning, Champlin leading it 5-0. But my point was that whenever you're a baseball broadcaster at the high school level, it's always nice to have a booth and somewhere to set up in and protect your equipment and everything. I've in my career, I've always had a mix of facilities. Sometimes a press box for baseball and softball, sometimes not. And sometimes you bring your own little pop-up and had to come up with little ways when it was raining to protect your equipment and everything. I took a clear tote, like a Rubbermaid tote, a clear, long, one of those 2-in-1 ones, one of the bigger ones, and cut some holes out of it. And I was inspired by a salad bar and the sneeze guard. I was inspired by the sneeze guard on a salad bar, and I cut at some holes with some wire cutters, and tell you what, my equipment never got wet again.
Well, that's great thinking, Jim. I'm going to hand it to you on that one.
Yeah. So if we ever need it here at QCTV, we can bring it.
We've
got a new pitcher here for Champlin. For Coon Rapids. And it's going to be Isaac Kaminsky. So number 20, Isaac Kaminsky, is going to be the pitcher here for Grisey, who goes the 1 inning and gives up the 5 runs. All of them were earned.
Well, he threw a lot of pitches. If they want to use him this weekend, they needed to get him out because you're down 5-0. The pitcher throws a lot of pitches. You got to get him out and try somebody else. So like we talked about earlier, it's probably going to be a patchwork of pitchers here tonight. So
Kaminsky is a right-hander. Grisey was a left-hander, and here's Kaminsky, the right-hander. And starts Luke Carlson, leadoff man here in the second inning, ball 1. 1-0. Carlson George McGee for Champlin. Enjoying here a 5-0 lead here in the early going. That pitch is low. 2 balls and no strikes.
Once again, the Coon Rapids pitchers getting behind in the count. You're sitting dead red if you're Champlin Park.
2-0. Low. 3-0. Carlson walked, Scored one of those 5 runs in the bottom of the first. To the plate, 3-0, called strike. Carlson taking all the way.
Now let's see if he can battle back here in a 3-1 count. Once again, hitter's advantage. Sitting on that fastball.
3-1 is ball 4. Carlson draws the walk. Fourth walk given up by Coon Rapids pitching here tonight.
Yeah, I really like the patience on these Coon or Champlin hitters. You want to hit, but you got to make sure they're bringing you strikes here, and they're being very patient, very disciplined.
Reese George, walk and a run scored in the first inning. And it's low and away. Ball 1. Yeah, I mean, yes, it's easy to just step up there and just start swinging away because you want to get a hit. That's what you go up to the plate for. But if the pitchers are having control problems, you basically can lead in and help them out by swinging at pitches that might be out of the strike zone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Patience is always a virtue, pretty much in everything, as that pitch misses, and it's 2 balls and no strikes.
You know, the things that drive us crazy as coaches is getting behind hitters and obviously walking hitters, but you get behind.
2-0 lined and caught by Lundqvist at short, and Carlson will get back. George hit it well, but right at Lundqvist, the shortstop for Coon Rapids, 1 out.
Now here comes McGee, who hit one to the fence out there in center field last time up. Big, strong hitter.
McGee will step in. Ty McGee, cleanup hitter. College freshman, graduated last spring from Champlin Park High School. Takes a big cut here. And a swing and a miss, strike 1.
Yeah, I've seen McGee as a catcher in his younger days here. But yeah, he's a big, strong kid.
0-1 pitch. Kaminsky, the relief pitcher here, first inning of work, rolled to short. Lundqvist, they get to second, 1 out there. And the second baseman, Karen, seemed like he wasn't able to get a firm grip of the ball on the relay. Fielder's choice, they do get the lead runner, 2 down.
Well, he's throwing strikes, making him hit the ball. Got a couple outs here early with the runner on first base.
Carlson retired at second, 2 down. McGee's over at first for Caleb Greer. Flied to right in the first inning, 0 for 1. 3/4 delivery. It's called strike 1 here to Greer. If he gets on, Janish on deck. Bottom of the second inning. 5 runs in the first here for Champlin. And Kaminsky, the relief pitcher here, trying to keep him off the board in the second after 5 runs in the first, and it looks like he's going to do that as a fly ball off the bat of Greer. Caught by Califoot in a lazy fly ball to shallow center, and Califoot makes the catch. Greer retired, and for Champlin, they're down here in the bottom of the second inning. No runs and 1 left. Go to the third, and it's 5-0 Champlin. 5-0 score. Coon Rapids batting top of the third. Down 5-0, trying to chip away at this 5-0 Champlin lead. Jeremy Birch, the first baseman, leads it off here. It'll be Birch, Chapeau, and Sharp. 8, 9, and then 1 here in the Coon Rapids order.
Yeah, Berg falling behind quite a few hitters here. I'd like to see him get ahead a little bit more.
Swing and a miss there.
Got a little bit of help right there.
He's got a tail on that fastball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Tailing away from Birch. Comes back in low, 3-1.
Yeah, he kind of does have that tail, and as a left-hander, usually it's going to tail in, but his kind of seems to flare to the outside a little bit.
Timeout called here as Cal Oakley will head out to the mound, have a chat with his pitcher, Alex Berg.
Well, throw strikes here, Jim, and you're at the bottom of the order. You don't want to be walking your 8-9 guy.
It is outside, so Birch takes a walk. That's the third walk given up here by Berg. And the number 9 hitter, Jack Chapeau, will step in. And Spencer Robinson had mentioned to me that pitching had really been carrying them. He pitched very well in that Delano tournament. Championship game, they were down 1-0 and going into the 7th and just ran out of pitching in those 5 games in 3 days, losing to Wayzata 8-1 in the championship game.
Well, that's another nice field there, Delano.
Oh, yes, very nice.
That's you come into town at night with the lights, and that's a nice field.
1 ball and 1 strike here to Chapeau, with Sharp on deck. Leadoff man over at first on the walk is Birch. Janish holding with him there. And the Berg pitch is low and away. So Berg right now having a hard time finding the strike zone for Champlin. And Coon Rapids, they're forcing him to throw strikes.
Well, and like we talked about earlier, you don't want him to throw too many pitches where he won't be available this weekend.
2-1. And that is low in the dirt off of the shin guard of Oakley and back to the backstop. And Chapeau's going to move up. So 3-1. Chapeau, the number 9 hitter.
You have to be really disciplined here if you're Chapeau. Make sure it's nothing but a fastball right down the middle.
3-1 to him is up and away, ball 4. 2 at-bats and 2 walks, 2 plate appearances and 2 walks.
You know, walk the number 8 and 9 hitter, so we're going to get an appearance by the coach coming out and talking to him. Not a whole lot you can say, but throw strikes.
Right. That's as simple as it gets. Going to go to the top of the order here, so great opportunity for Coon Rapids. Down 5-0 with Champlin scoring 5 runs in the bottom of the first inning, but now they've got first and second, 2 on and nobody out, and a chance, not saying they're going to get all 5 back, but a chance to get a couple here at least, and maybe chip away here in the top of the third inning.
Well, they have their 1, 2, and 3 hitters coming up here, so if they're ever going to chip away, it's right now, you'd have to think.
Reese Sharp, that leadoff hitter, led off the game with a fly out to right field, 0 for 1 tonight. And there's a strike at the knees. Strike 1 to Sharp. Evan Norby went 6 innings against Delano last Friday, gave up 3 hits. Preston Tilkey, complete game 2 hitter against Buffalo in a 3-0 shutout. So the pitchers really came up strong for them in that Delano tournament. I mentioned by the time they got to that last Wayzata game, they just didn't have a whole lot left as it's 1 ball and 1 strike here to Sharp.
Yeah, the nice thing with Champlin, too, is they're younger guys. So they'll be back for the high school season and the Legion season if they'd like.
1-1. Sharp reaches out for it, chases 1 and 2. One ball, 2 strikes, nobody out, 2 on. Berg, the Champlin right-hander, misses outside. That pitch there has just gotten away from him here tonight. Hasn't been able to steer that one closer to the strike zone. He'll set at the belt, 2-2. Reaching there for it sharp. Fouls it off to the right side into the parking lot, and it rolls along here at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that pitch is, but he does not have good control of that tonight.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Karen on deck. Right now, Berg just looking for an out. And it's outside. Fills the count.
This is a big pitch right here for Berg. They don't want to fill the bases up here with nobody out. Gives Coon Rapids a chance to get right back in and put up a crooked number.
3-2 payoff. Popped up. Left side. Catcher Oakley. And then they called to the pitcher, Berg, and they'll fall in. 3 guys were there, Carson, Berg, and Oakley. And again, high and amongst the sky. And it looked like Oakley was going to take charge of it. And then he gave up on it like somebody else was going to. I don't know if somebody called it or just some confusion there. Falls as a foul ball, and it's still 3-2.
Well, that's the third baseman's ball right there, Luke Carlson. But he might not have saw the ball. But that's his ball right there. Usually don't want the pitcher catching it or the catcher if one of the infielders has a chance to catch the ball.
So coming back after that, which is tough for a pitcher, you thought you got that out that you were trying to. You were able to induce the pop-up, and instead he comes back and throws ball 4 on the 3-2 pitch, and Sharp is on, and the bases have been loaded up here with bases on balls. And great opportunity here for Price Karen for Coon Rapids.
Yeah, that's one you want right there.
The Berg pitch, fastball, swung on and missed, 1 strike. Karen walked, was picked off for the final out in the top of the first. 0-1. Low, 1-1.
Berg's tough when he can hit that outside corner. Has a little zip on it, a little bit of movement on the ball. When he hits that outside, it's tough to hit.
On the outside corner, now 1-2, gets ahead in the count here. That has not been happening much, so that's a good sign here for Berg. He's ahead 1-2. Chapeau's at first, Birch at second. Or excuse me, Chapeau at third, Birch at second, and Sharp is at first. And this one's going to go back to the backstop, but no chance for Birch to advance. And it evens the count here at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 is the count. Mentioned big pitch earlier. This is a big one here. 2-2 delivery. Line to left field. That'll be in for a hit. That'll score a run. Birch at third will come in. It'll be station to station. And Coon Rapids on the board. It's 5-1.
Yeah, nice little piece of hitting right there. Sat back on the ball, let it travel a little bit, poked it into left field, and Coon Rapids is on the board.
First hit of the game for Coon Rapids. Price Karen picks up an RBI. And their number 3 hitter, Jacob Califoot, popped out to the catcher, Oakley, in the first, 0-for-1. Takes up and away, ball 1.
Yeah, Oakley tried to bring that ball in and frame a little bit. Didn't get the call.
1-0. Grounded with the pulled in infield. Carlson knocks it down. They're going to have a force at third, but a run does score, and it's 5-2. Really nothing the runner there at second could do, but good job by Carlson just knocking that down. The run does score and makes it 5-2, but now we've got the one out.
Yeah, I don't think he would have got there, but I had a little bit of a brain freeze right there. Ball was on the ground, bases loaded, or else he didn't know the situation, and you got to go. I don't think he would have made it there, but didn't move at all.
So Chapeau scores. Sharp retired for the first out of the inning on a third baseman putout. Califoot over at first fielder's choice. Michael Campbell, the cleanup hitter, takes a strike there. 0-2.
On that play before, nice play there by Luke Carlson to knock the ball down and make that play.
Runner going, and they'll throw to second. And a little bit of a hesitation there because the runner from first, Karen, did not take off at the same time as the runner. The runner at second was Karen. He took off right away, and Califoot kind of played it kind of nonchalant. Then he took off and did not draw the throw right away. 1 ball and 2 strikes now, second and third. And that'll be fought off there by Campbell and out of play.
Well, we get a base hit right here. We got a ball game.
Yeah. Runners at second and third with 1 out. 1-2 to Campbell. Takes low and in. 2-2. And I think the fact that Oakley did not think that the runner at first, Califoot, was running because he got just kind of a late jump and he was behind the runner at second that had taken off for third. Ended up basically being double steal. Now a full count on the 2-2 pitch missing.
Well, it was almost like a delayed steal, but it was not. But that's kind of what it acted like.
Little number off the end of the bat. Janisch will play it in foul territory. Count continues here at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
You'd be amazed how the delayed steal works in high school baseball. We try to run it a lot when you got guys who can run a little bit, but it's shuffle, shuffle, go, and the catcher holding the ball and the second baseman isn't getting over there to cover.
High fly ball to left field. Well hit DeLong on the run over his head. That's going to go all the way to the fence. That will score Karen. Califoot will come around. There's that base hit you were talking about, Pete. And all of a sudden it's 5-4.
Yeah, he put a charge into that ball right there. I thought the left fielder for Champlin Park did a nice job getting back on it. But he hit that ball hard. Puts him right back in the game at 5-4.
Karen and Califoot both scoring. Makes it 5-4. And it looks like we're going to get a pitching change here for Champlin. And Brooks is going to be the new pitcher, number 85, who had pinch ran for the catcher Oakley earlier in the ball game.
Well, Brooks is a right-hander, a tall, lanky right-hander. Looks like he throws the ball pretty well. A little bit of heat on it.
So Berg will go an inning and 2 innings and a third.
I'm sure that's not what they're expecting from Berg. He's been pretty doggone good this summer.
5 runs, all of them earned. 2 hits. And 1 strikeout. The free passes, that was an issue here. 5 walks in those 2 1/3 innings pitched for Alex Berg.
Well, and then that ball drop between third and the pitcher and catcher didn't help out either. Kind of extended this inning a little bit.
So they will call on Kyle Brooks here. Head coach Spencer Robinson going to his bullpen here. And like you said, with the games piling up this week, Champlin's got same schedules you mentioned with Coon Rapids. They play tonight, they play Wednesday, they play Thursday. Then they play the 5 games in 3 days in the Gopher Classic in the pool at University of Northwestern. So they probably were just going to pitch a few innings here or there anyway, but just wasn't what Champlin was hoping for from Berg here tonight. So let's see what Kyle Brooks has as he faces Kaminsky. Isaac Kaminsky, who's batting in the Braden Grisey spot. Starts him out with a strike, comes back here low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Now, it tells me he has confidence in that curveball. You come into the game and you throw a curveball for a strike right away. So that tells me that might be his number 1.
1 ball, 1 strike. Kaminsky batting here. Still just the 1 out. Down low. Oakley will knock it down. Runner going. He'll challenge the throw, and it is in time. 1 hop throw by Oakley, and Carlson at third makes a catch and lays down the tag. 2 down. That throw ended up right where it had to be to get that runner sliding in head first with a hand.
Yeah, nice job by Carlson, too, getting that ball down quick, putting it right on top of his hand before it touched the base. Good base running right there. You're down by 1 run and get to third base with less than 2 outs, or a fly ball can tie this game.
So now 2 down, and the bases are clear with the caught stealing. Brooks working quickly. Here's the Y, and the right-hander delivers. And it is a ball, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike. If Kaminsky can get on first or second or third, Aiden McCauley would bat. 3-1 offering. Breaking ball stays up high, ball 4. That has been, for both pitching staffs here tonight, Pete, that has been a recurring theme, one that isn't good for a pitching staff, and that's just the inability to throw strikes and the bases on balls. That's the 6th walk given up by Champlin. And meanwhile, 4 have been given up by Coon Rapids pitching here tonight, and they've pitched 1 less of an inning, 1/2 an inning.
That's a lot of walks in 2.5 innings.
It sure
that's
is.
for sure. Throw strikes.
So now is McCauley batting. Runner over at first, and a called strike here. Kaminsky is the presumed runner over at first. He's pitching.
McCauley is a switch hitter. I remember him batting right-handed last time. Now he's batting left-handed.
You don't see that too often here at this level. There's a called strike 3. It was a foul tip into the glove of Oakley. And on the 0-2 pitch, McCauley goes down swinging the catcher, and that's all for Coon Rapids here in the top of the 3rd inning. But they get right back into this game as they score 4 runs in this 2nd inning. 4 runs on a couple of hits. They were helped out by the bases on balls, and they leave 1 on. So we'll move on to the bottom of the 3rd. Now a 5-4 Champlin lead over Coon Rapids here tonight from Champlin Park High School. There is your temperature, your weather,
81.
and I believe we are expecting similar conditions through the rest of the evening here. No rain or any storms or anything in the horizon, at least tonight here during this game.
Well, we've had enough rain this year to last us, I think. Haven't had to use a whole lot in the yard, though. So that's good.
Yeah, my water bill
looks better.
Much better. And I'm okay with that.
I think I'm okay with that, too.
Saves on the water treatment plants. No sprinkling restrictions. Don't have to realize, do I live on the odd side or the even side? Which is really easy for a smart person to be able to figure that out. You
Well,
just need to know your address.
I struggle with it.
All you need to know is your address and what's an odd or an even number.
Yeah, but does that mean you get to water it on the odd day if you're an odd number?
That's the confusing part.
Right. So I'm feeling kind of bad right now because I'm not sure.
Well, no. Well, contact your city hall.
Okay.
That's all you have to do. They'll gladly take your call, maybe and visit the website. And, of course, a lot of those city council meetings, city hall proceedings and activities featured here on QCTV. Here tonight at Sports Action. And you got Champlin, you got Coon Rapids. Moving on to the Champlin half of the 3rd inning. And all of a sudden they look up as they step up here against Kaminsky. Find themselves only with a 1-run lead after they were pretty cushiony. They were feeling pretty good at 5-0. You got to believe that.
Yeah, you know, like we said, Coon Rapids compete. Coaches and the players on Coon Rapids got to feel pretty good because they competed that inning, got a little bit of help. But they competed, and they're right back in it. So what are we talking about again? Throwing strikes.
Yeah. Max Janisch. Both teams have gone to the bullpen. Isaac Kaminsky is a pitcher here in relief of Grisey from earlier and delivers ball 1 to Janisch. Single and a run scored. One of the 4 base hits for Champlin here tonight. Janish takes low, 2-0. Janish, Wexeth, and Oakley. The new batters here for Champlin, 6, 7, 8 in their lineup. And here's the 2-0, low and away. 3-0. I think you jinxed him when you said throw strikes.
Well, then I've been jinxing him the whole game because I started saying that in the first inning. And there's a 4-pitch walk. You know, after you come back, get 4 runs, it's like go out there and throw strikes, kid. So see if he can battle back right here after that first 4-pitch walk.
Just goes to show you, easier said than done. And here's Tristan Wexeth, struck out looking back in the first inning, 0 for 1 for Champlin tonight. Runner at first, nobody out.
Well, I believe he walked the first runner last inning, and then he came back and pitched pretty well from there on out the rest of the inning.
Starts out with a off-speed pitch there, strike one. Wexeth, as the hitter's going to do when pitching staff struggling to throw strikes, you are going to take that first pitch more often than not, probably 90% of the time, unless you're really confident. Pitch is low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, the running game's back on for both teams right now, with it only being a 1-run game in the 3rd inning.
1-1 pitch. And it's low and away, backhanded there by the catcher McCauley. 2-1.
Sitting on that fastball once again. Where do I want it? That's the pitch I want.
2-1 is low, 3-1. Wexeth, the right fielder, is going to step back in here. Awaits the 3-1 pitch. Runner a couple of steps to the right side. It's a flare to center. Califoot on the run will make the catch. 1 out.
Yeah, a little bit better jump on the ball there by Califoot. Running from right to left. Making the play.
Janish stays at first. Cal Oakley will come to the plate, the catcher. One of the 4 hits tonight for Champlin. According to the PA announcer, Cal is short for California. I thought they took it out of supercalifragilisticexpialidocious is what I thought, where that came from. But
well, I can see where you
I
could
got
have
bad
thought
information. So Oakley, the batter. DeLong will follow here, the number 9 spot. And now Kaminsky tying a shoe.
Well, I like this kid behind the plate. Not afraid to throw it on to first. Made a couple nice blocks. Threw a ball down to second base well. So it's very important that you have a good catcher. It can really cost you if you don't.
Kaminsky set. Ooh. And he had Janish leaning a little bit with some weight there in his right foot, but Janish not a big enough lead there to get caught, and he'll dive back in. Janish getting his lead. Birch is the first baseman here for Coon Rapids. Pitch to Oakley. Line sharply to center. Califoot coming in. Will have to let it bounce in front of him. And it'll be a base hit here for Cal Oakley. So he's on at first. Janish is at second. 5th hit of the game for Champlin tonight. Their number 9 hitter, Paul DeLong, who has a base hit. The left fielder comes to the plate.
Now batting for the Rebels, the left fielder, number 87, Paulie DeLong.
Yeah, I think they would be running for their catcher here, but I don't know how long their bench is.
Well, Brooks was the only one possibly available for them here tonight, and he's now pitching.
Well, there you go.
And And the first delivery here to DeLong. Catches that outside corner from Kaminsky. 1 strike. I think with the way the pitching staffs have worked here tonight, you get that first pitch strike, that's a major victory. Here tonight, that's a good step forward. 1 strike. Here's the set and the pitch. Misses outside, 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. They have not been ahead of the hitters very often for either side here tonight. When they do get ahead, they seem to make people hit the ball.
1 ball, 1 strike. Champlin trying to add to their lead. They were up at one time 5-0, now 5-4. This is going to be a bouncer to first. Birch plays it. He'll take it himself. And it's the second out of the inning. Runners move up. Oakley to second, Janisch to third. So 2 runners in scoring position, but now 2 down. And Brockton Sandell will be the batter, the second baseman. Batted twice in the first inning. And that 5-run first as Champlin sent 10 to the plate. And Sandell, walk, run scored, and a ground out. Led off the inning and finished the inning.
Well, there's a couple runs out there to put him up by 3. If he come through with a base hit here.
First pitch is ball 1. If Sandell can get on here, Carlson on deck. One-0 delivery. Called strike. Sweeper. 1 ball, 1 strike. Luke Carlson on deck. Even though Nick isn't in the lineup and not on the lineup card tonight, not available, still got to use probably first and last name with the Carlson brothers. Luke would bat if Sandell can get on. 1-1 offering here, Kaminsky, and it's fouled away by Sandell.
I think you called it right on the nose. It's a sweeper.
Yes.
Is what he throws there.
Which wasn't a thing a couple of years ago. I don't. They never mentioned.
I don't.
It's just a
remember
new
that
name
either.
to a breaking ball that's kind of flat. At least that's what I think it is. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It sweeps across the zone. There's a swing and a miss on 1 and 2, and Sandell goes down. That's a big strikeout by Kaminsky, and that ends the Champlin threat here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. No runs, a hit, and they leave a couple of runners in scoring position as we played 3 and we move on to 4. 5-4. Champlin leading Coon Rapids is Legion Baseball here on QCTV. Top half of the 4th inning, 5-4. And it's Coon Rapids stepping up here against Brooks, the right-hander. First pitch is a strike. And Hayden Lundquist is the batter. And Lundquist looks at that one low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike here in the 4th inning.
That was a big strikeout of Sandell last inning with runners on 2nd and 3rd.
Huge.
Keeps them right in the game at 5-4 here going into the top of the fourth.
1-1 bouncer at the plate, foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Birch and Chapeau, the new batters here for Coon Rapids. Right now, this one, anybody's ball game. Champlin raced out to a 5-0 lead in the bottom of the first. 1-2. Lifted in the air to left field. The long drifting back, and then in towards left center, makes the catch. Lundqvist down, there's 1 out.
Well, that big inning, Chapeau and Birch were the 2 guys who got on base by walk to start it off, the 8 and 9 hitters. So that really got it going for Coon Rapids when they scored the 4 in the second.
Got to credit them, though. They took advantage. Something that we've seen our Major League Ball club not do nearly enough. As it's 1 ball, no strikes here to Jeremy Birch. Coon Rapids sent 8 to the plate in that 4-run third. And Birch takes ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. The Brooks pitch. Up high, 3-0.
You know, Coon Rapids has to be really happy that they're in this game, and you want to keep battling here. You're only down by 1, and you're in the top of the 4th inning. So nice job by Coon Rapids to stay focused.
Birch takes just on the outside corner. 3-1. 1 down, nobody on. That has just changed. That's ball 4. Birch is on at first base. 1 out base runner for the number 9 hitter, Jack Chapeau. Chapeau walked, scored one of those 4 runs last inning in the third. Coon Rapids batting in the top of the 4th. Strike 1 called to Chapeau. Brooks starts him out with a strike. 0-1. Birch, the runner at first. Janisch holding. And had him a little frozen, leaning back a little bit on that off-speed breaking ball, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, that was a big bender right there. Came right across the center of the plate. Threw it again.
And it's a called strike 3. Chapeau knew it. That ball hadn't even hit the catcher's glove, and he was walking back to the dugout. So a couple of good curve balls there by Kyle Brooks. 2 down.
All right, is he going to start him off with a curveball here again since those 2 worked? Nope, fastball.
That was Brooks' first strikeout of the game. Fastball to Sharp, swing and a miss. Back to the top of the order here for Coon Rapids. Sharp flied to right, walked. 0 for 1. That one misses outside, 1-1.
Be interesting to see if Coon Rapids decides to run here. The 1-1 count.
No, they're going to bunt. Brooks forced to play it. He'll plant. Will he have time? No, a bunt base hit. So the plan was just to move the runner up, but they end up getting the base hit. Sharp at first. Birch is at second. 2-out threat here for Coon Rapids. That'll bring up Price Karen.
The second baseman, number 16, Price Karen.
Yeah, Karen a good hitter here for Coon Rapids. Tying runs at second base with 2 outs. Lead runs at first.
That bunt base hit, 3rd hit of the game for Coon Rapids. Pitch is a strike of the knees. Karen walked, was picked off, and then an RBI single in his last at bat in the 3rd inning. Part of that 4-run third. 1 strike delivery outside and low. 1-1. Oakley showing off that backhand stab.
Yeah, nice job by him right there, keeping the runners at first and second.
Batter steps out, back in. Brooks on the rubber. And his 1-1 delivery is to third. Diving play by Carlson. He'll step on third, and that's all he needs to do. to get the third out of the inning. He still fired it over to first just in case he needed to do that. And maybe that'll happen later where he needs to, but he made a great play. And then the out at third by Luke Carlson, and that ends the threat here for Coon Rapids in the fourth inning. For Coon Rapids in the top of the fourth, no runs. They got a hit, and they leave a runner at first. That officially goes down as a fielder's choice. And then the great putout by Luke Carlson over at third, getting Birch for the final out of the inning. So we will move to the bottom of the fourth inning, 3.5, and it's 5-4. Champlin leading Coon Rapids. It's Legion Baseball tonight on QCTV, and if you love QCTV's programming and connecting with our communities, consider sponsoring one of our award-winning programs. In a rapidly changing media environment, QCTV looking for community support to share the vibrant stories of our community. Sponsorships are available for numerous programs, and perks are designed to showcase the sponsoring business across all of our platforms. Reach out to us at contact us at qctv.org. That's contact us at qctv.org today and find out how your business can support QCTV. And we've got some aspiring gymnasts over there. Any of those moves I've never attempted because I knew that I could possibly break my neck.
I'm thinking I probably didn't either. Didn't do any of those things.
I've attempted one cartwheel in my life, and I was told that it was nothing close to a cartwheel.
I thought because I could do a somersault, I was
Right.
pretty good. But that's
You
about
could
as-
do a somersault, huh?
Well, I could, but that was, many, many years ago.
Is that where you just kind of roll head first? I think I did do that one,
Yeah.
but that was about it. My tumbling, we called that tumbling.
Tumbling, that was
That's what
tumbling,
We called it
yep.
tumbling, not
Yep.
necessarily gymnastics. But as we go here to the Champlin half of the fourth inning, 5-4 up by one, and that one came in tight here to the leadoff man, Luke Carlson. Almost hit him. Ball one.
Well, they need to keep that leadoff hitter off base. I don't need to tell you that. And you keep him off base by throwing strikes and make him earn it here.
1-0. Hit well. Off the glove of the third baseman, Chapeau, and it deflects down the line. Let's see if Carlson will race for second. He will. Here comes the throw. It's cut off. And that'll be a double.
Boy, that one got there a little too quick for the third baseman. Luckily, he got his glove up and deflected the ball. Thought he was going to make a play, but tell you what.
That's the sun field, too. That's
That
the
is
sun
the sun
shining right
field.
there. And
Yeah,
it's just,
good point. Good point.
Just above the canopy here of the grandstand. So that ball quickly comes out of the shadow right into the sunlight. And I think that's what affected Chapeau's play on that play, but still goes as a leadoff double here for Carlson. He's on at second, and Reese George walking a line out here tonight. And he takes strike one here.
Yeah, you can see him with his hand up over his eyes, sunglasses on. Next inning, he'll probably be okay, but that was a close call right there. Ball was hit well.
0-1. Pitch to George from Kaminsky is fouled at the plate. No balls, 2 strikes. If you're just joining us here tonight, we are at Champlin Park High School. Champlin Legion here at home. Nice 11-3 campaign here so far. Coon Rapids trying to turn things around for them. 1-8, looking for their second season, and both teams embarking on a very busy week coming off of the 4th of July weekend. 0-2, low and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
There's no easy outs in this Champlin lineup, and the top of their lineup is tough. They get those guys on base. They can run. They got some power. They hit to all fields, so you got to keep those guys off base, and they're starting it off with a hit by Carlson.
1-2. Other way. Sharp slicing away from him, makes the catch. Tagging at third is Carlson, and he will get in easily, so he tags up and advances. George basically does a nice job hitting the ball the other way to advance the runner. Same thing would have happened on a ground ball to the right side, fly ball to the right side. And George able to move the runner up, and Carlson ends up at third base with 1 down.
Well, as hard as it was on Sharp on that double that kind of landed between him and the center fielder, made a real nice play going down the first baseline right there on George.
So here's Ty McGee. McGee, the DH. RBI base hit back in the first. That was that. It was more than a base hit. It was a high fly ball that bounced just shy of the warning track. But because of some confusion on the base paths in front of him, he only got a single out of it. Still got an RBI. Then he was reaching on a fielder's choice. Kaminsky sets to the plate. Low and away, 1-1.
Well, you just want something hit to the outfield right now. And Coon Rapids does have their infielders back, so I don't think they're going to be getting Luke Carlson. You hit something up the middle and you're going on contact, and he should score. Otherwise, something to the outfield will score that 6th run.
Low and away now, 2-1.
I'm actually a little surprised that Coon Rapids doesn't have those middle infielders up. With the 1-run lead, or you're down by a run and there's a runner on third base, you usually play those guys up, cut off that run.
Kaminsky with a long set to the plate. Low again, 3-1. First base empty here. The cleanup hitter, Ty McGee. If Kaminsky's being a little careful with him. You also got to be careful of throwing pitches in the dirt here as well, with that runner just 90 feet away. To the plate with the 3-1. Inside, ball 4. Runners at the corners here for Champlin, and here's their number 5 hitter, Caleb Greer. 0 for 2 here tonight. Chance to add to his team's lead.
Now batting for the Rebels, the shortstop, number 42, Caleb.
Well, first and third here. We'll see what kind of play Champlin Park has on with McGee. Now, smart base runner standing on third base. The ball goes through. I'm guessing he'll be coming home.
Toss over to first. Kaminsky with Birch holding, just to try to make sure McGee is aware that they know that he's there. Didn't have much of a lead, only stepped off the base a few steps. First pitch to Greer. There goes McGee. You can see why they're trying to keep him close. But McGee, that pitch is in the dirt, knocked down by McCauley. But no throw, no chance there. McGee is on at second base with the stolen base. That puts runners in scoring position at second and third now. And a ball 1 count here to Greer. Greer swings, hits this one hard on a hop past Lundqvist. And it's into left field. That'll score 2, and it's 7-4 Champlin.
Yeah, hit the ball hard, and he kind of short-armed it out there at shortstop instead of getting himself in front of it. He kind of threw the arm out there, and that didn't get it done. And Champlin Park goes up by 3.
Summer ball, I'm very generous. I'm giving him a hit on that.
I would give him a hit, too.
Yeah. 2 RBIs for Greer. 2 in, 1 out. Runner over to first is Greer. Toss over there with Birch able to corral the ball. Batter is Max Janisch. Single and a walk. He's been on twice. Just 1 out. Runner going again, and this one is low and away. Perfect pitch to go, breaking ball low and away. And tough for McCauley to get up and fire that one down there. So uncontested stolen base basically there for Greer, and he's on at second base here for Champlin. So runner in scoring position, and it's 1 ball and no strikes to Janisch.
Yeah, he stole that one on the pitcher. And he can steal third on the pitcher.
And there he goes.
He didn't even look at him.
Nope. That's a Ricky Henderson triple. Single, steal, and a steal.
I was hearing Byron Buxton's never stole third base before.
I heard that too. I think it's just not a thing anymore. 2 balls, no strikes, swing and a miss. Got him to swing over the top of that one. And it's 2-1. Janusz was a big cut on that one. But the swing did not match the pitch from Kaminsky.
Well, now the infield has come in. So 1 out, runner on third, and they bring him in.
2-1 pitch. Outside. 3-1.
You know, Kaminsky's done a pretty good job keeping him in the game. That's the first 2 runs that have been scored off of him.
Yeah, he came in relief of Grisey after the first inning, and kept Champlin off the board in the second and the third. But here in the fourth, Champlin's added a couple. Made it 7-4. Got a 3-run lead back. 3-1 count to Janusz. Big cut, fly ball, left side, foul, long run. Nobody's going to get it. Chapeau, the third baseman, ended up the closest, but he wasn't going to get there either. And it's 3-2.
You know, that's pretty good foul territory here to go out and get some balls. The other impressive thing is the grass in the foul territory is as nice as the grass in the field.
That's not too shabby.
That's not too shabby. That's what it's getting to now, me looking at the grass in the
You are.
foul territory.
How's your lawn looking? And that one, in fact, I think we've already mentioned that.
Yeah,
We were only supposed to have one lawn mentioned in this game tonight, by the way. And that one hit Janusz. So he is on with a hit by pitch. And that'll put runners in the corners. Champlin still threatening here for more, just the 1 out. And their number 7 hitter, Tristan Wexeth, strikeout and a flyout, 0 for 2 tonight. And that'll get a visit here from the Coon Rapids dugout. Again, it was 5-0 Champlin after the first inning. And then a nice 4-run inning for Coon Rapids in the third. Got him right back into it. Now Champlin re-exerting themselves here. Getting a couple of more runs, and they've got a 3-run lead here. And got a long discussion going on the mound. You can see the Coon Rapids staff. Matt Mossy is their head coach. Brian Johnston helped us out before the ball game with lineups and pronunciations and everything. Just want to make sure everybody's on the same page here. Because one thing for Coon Rapids, they don't want to fall back behind by 5 runs. They work so hard to get back from 5-0 to 5-4. Now they are in danger of being down by 5 or more again if they can't get an out here.
Well, especially the way he's holding these runners on, so I see no reason for him not to be running on this first pitch.
Janusz at first, Greer is the runner at third. First and third, Wexeth the batter, there goes the runner. They're going to throw down, but it'll be cut off, that first and third play. Second baseman steps in front of the bag, Karen, just to make sure there was nothing weird going on with Greer trying to come home. And Janusz ends up with a stolen base. He's at second, now second and third. 2 runners in scoring position here for Champlin, and 1 out. Kaminsky digging down here to try to get out of this jam. 1 strike to Wexeth. Delivers low to even the count at 1-1.
Yeah, there's that 4 or 5 run lead here. Runners at second and third and just 1 out. Once again, hit the ball to the outfield. They do have the infield in.
Here's the 1-1. Bouncer to the left side. Again, having to battle the sun on a bouncing ball, and everybody's going to be safe. Chapo had to kind of back up on it. You could tell he was still fighting the sun, even on a ground ball with that high hop. That'll score a run, and it's 8-4. The fielder's choice. We'll give him an RBI on it for Wexeth. He's at first. Janusz stays at second, and Greer scores the run.
Yeah, once again, he might not have saw that one very well. Otherwise, you have to make up your mind whether you're going to stay back, play that hop, or you're going to come forward and take the short hop.
So 3 runs on the board, Cal Oakley. And still just the 1 out. Kaminsky to the plate. Oakley takes strike 1. Oakley, couple of hits. He's 2 for 2 tonight. As 2 of their 7 hits, 2 here this inning for Champlin. There's the 1-strike offering. Foul into the glove of McCauley, 0-2.
You know, not a whole lot of velocity with Kaminsky here. He is throwing strikes now, and sometimes that's tough to hit. You know, when you're used to guys throwing in the mid to upper 80s and all of a sudden the guy's throwing in the 70s, it's kind of hard to readjust.
Time called.
You know, I'd always think when we'd go against teams like that, it's like, why are we not hitting this guy? You know, but the day before you saw someone who threw 80, 88.
Oh, 2 from Kaminsky. Did he sneak that curveball over? He did. Called strike 3. And Oakley down looking. He's retired for the first time tonight. And there are 2 outs. Timely little breaking ball across the inside corner of the plate there. Kaminsky picks up his second strikeout.
Yeah, for a second there I thought I was going to hit him, but it broke back across the plate pretty nice. So that's another big strikeout, just like he got last inning, but there's still runners on first and second.
Paul DeLong, 2 down. Leaves it up to the left-handed swinging catcher, and the pitch outside. 1-0. DeLong a single and a ground out. 1 for 2 tonight. Wexeth is the runner at first. Janisch is at second. You can see Janisch there getting his lead with the shortstop Lundqvist running behind him. And Kaminsky will step off the rubber. Everybody back.
Well, he's doing a better job holding the runners. I suppose they talked about that when the coach came out. So they were just running on him at will, and now he's holding these runners a little bit better, and his infielders are working a little bit.
And the 1-0 offering on the outside corner, 1-1.
Oh, that's a ball right there you want to take the other way. He's got that whole left field line that they really shifted over on him. I love left-handed hitters who go the other way.
And the 1-1 pitch. Campbell, the left fielder, as you said, swung way over towards left center. Pitch misses, 2-1. DeLong gets on, top of the order. Brockton Sandell here for Champlin, batting in the bottom of the 4th inning. Getting 3 runs back and leading at 8-4. Kaminsky's 2-1 pitch makes it 3-1.
Tell you what, if DeLong hits one down that left field line, he's going to be standing on third with his speed.
A lot of room to work down that line. (3-1) with 2 down, ball 4. That'll load him up. So DeLong draws the walk. He goes to first. Wexeth to second. Janisch takes up his spot there at third. Bases loaded for the top of the order. 9th man to bat this inning for Champlin, Brockton Sandell. Will be his 4th plate appearance already here in the 4th inning. He batted twice in the first.
Well, Sandell left him there his last time up and had a couple walks. He's going to be swinging away right here and try to redeem himself from that last at-bat.
Fastball up and away, ball 1. Strike called there, 1-1. That was the 6th walk given up by Coon Rapids pitching tonight. Crusay had 3. Kaminsky had 3. Kaminsky's also hit a batter.
When Kaminsky starts it inside, it breaks over the plate. That's the pitch that Champlin's struggling with.
1-1 delivery. This one sweeps across and ends up outside. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 down, but the bases are full. of Champlin runners here with Sandell. Kaminski's 2-1 offering. Misses low. Good eye there by Sandell. 3-1.
Yeah, he's looking for his pitch right now. Needs to be disciplined. He gets that pitch. You drive it to the gap.
Sandell walk, ground out, strikeout. 3-1 pitch. Hits it in the air, left field. This one's hooking towards the line. Hooking, and it's almost a catch by Campbell, but his diving attempt was in fair territory, and that is going to clear the bases. With 2 outs, everybody was going. 3 runs in, and it's 11-4 Champlin. What an effort by Campbell. And Pete, he had a long way to run because we made mention of it a number of times. He was swung further out, even for DeLong, and then also here for Sandell. He was off the line quite a bit, had a long way to go. Almost caught it.
He really did, but he laid out right in the glove. Once again, Sun's probably a problem out there in left field too, but he made a great little effort right there. Couldn't come up with the play. 3 more runs on the board. Champlin's up 11-4. We might be seeing a pitching change here.
Yeah, Brockton Sandell with a double. 3 runs batted in. And what was once a 5-0 lead, then a 5-4 lead, is now a 7-run lead here for Champlin. Batting in the bottom of the 4th inning.
You know, when you start seeing Gopher State Classic coming up, that's meaning you're in the middle of July already.
Yeah.
And, you know, this season's, you know, it's a long season for these kids because they play high school baseball. And then
It's basically all one season, really,
it pretty much
for
is.
the most part.
But, you know, they need to be done by the end of July, and unless you're going to a state tournament or a regional tournament, and all of a sudden football and soccer are here. So kids get a couple weeks off, and they're ready to go again.
So the new pitcher is going to be the third baseman, Jack Chapeau. Will move from third to pitcher. He'll be their third pitcher tonight, third pitcher of record. Guess technically he doesn't have a record yet. He hasn't faced a batter. But Chapeau will be their third pitcher here tonight. We'll get a new third baseman. We'll see who moves over there. Might be Kaminski, because they had to move things around a little bit. Kaminski on the original lineup, I think they wanted to go with Kaminski batting ninth and playing third. It's possible he didn't get here in time. I mean, that's another thing. We don't talk enough about summer baseball, just how we mentioned there are other factors going on. Mentioned there's the club teams, which, of course, you don't have that kind of, you know, in high school baseball and in most sports, you don't have that kind of a thing, another organization taking your players during the season. Plus, there's family vacations. There's players that work during the summer and so many other things that can certainly affect the availability for these Legion and summer baseball coaches.
Yeah, that's for sure. And like we said, Champlin Park, they didn't have anybody to run for their catcher because they only have 10 or 11 guys here tonight. So, yeah, sometimes you scramble, but sure is easy for the coach to write a lineup, though. You don't have to feel bad about leaving somebody out.
Or the broadcasters, they don't have a lot of names that they need to know or need to worry about to come into the game. But we'll see Chapeau here, third pitcher tonight for Coon Rapids. We'll see the right-hander work at it here. Luke Carlson will be the 10th Champlin batter here to step to the plate
Number 60, Luke.
in the 4th inning. They sent 10 to the plate in the first, and here in the 4th, also 10th man to the plate. Luke Carlson, strike one, first pitch from Chapeau. Minsky is now at third, as we mentioned before. So that was an easy flip. Pitch in the dirt, runner will move to third. Sandell moves up 90 feet on the wild pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, like you talked about earlier, this Carlson kid, he's a pure hitter. Had a really good high school season, and he's having a really good Legion season. He just sees ball, hits ball.
Kaminski went 2 2/3 innings. 6 runs, all of them earned so far, charged to him. And still responsible for the runner at third, Brockton Sandell. 2 balls, 1 strike to Luke Carlson, trying to extend and keep the inning, get another run across here. Chapeau trying to end it here, coming in as relief pitcher, and that's off to the right side and foul, evens the count 2-2. Carlson, walk, and then a double. Digs in here, 2-2 from Chapeau. In the dirt, bounces around. McCauley couldn't find it, but Chapeau does, and it wasn't nearly far enough away from home plate for Sandell to take a run at it. Fills the count.
Yeah, nice job by Sandell. Didn't quite bounce far enough away. Held at third base. Gives Carlson a chance to knock him in.
3-2 offering here. Chapeau stares into McCauley, the catcher. Here's his pitch, low. And the 3-2 pitch misses, so a walk extends the inning. Carlson walked for the 3rd time tonight. So runners first and third. Reese George will bat. Walk, line out, fly out. So the inning continues here for Champlin. Still a chance to extend their lead. Chapeau trying to keep it right where it's at. First pitch to George. Takes it just below the knees. Ball 1, 1-0. Along with Pete Hayes, I'm Jim Erickson here tonight. A sunny, beautiful temperature around 80 degrees. About 83 game time temperature tonight. Comes the 1-0 pitch, and that's going to be a wild pitch that'll score a run. Off the equipment of McCauley. You could hear it hit that shin guard, leg protector, deflect off to his right, and now 12-4. Wild pitch. I think a wild pitch.
I would call that a wild pitch right
off
there.
Of his leg. Sandell scoring that run. 7th of the inning here for Champlin. And that one in tight, brushes him off the plate. And it's 3-0. While that happened, Carlson also moved to second. Pitch misses. 3-0 pitch misses. Ball 4.
You know, usually when it's an 8-run game, you kind of have a gentleman's agreement and you don't run. But in this situation, you can win by 10. You can save pitchers for the weekend.
Yeah.
You can run, and that's totally fine.
Right.
So,
I think that is acceptable in this.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think both sides understand that. And the batter here is McGee. Hits one on to shortstop. Lundquist with a long toss across. Backhanded by Birch at first. And McGee is the final out here for Champlin. But they send 12 to the plate. 7 runs. 3 hits. They leave a couple on. As we have played 4 and moved to the 5th. And Champlin's lead is up to 8 now. They lead at 12-4 for Coon Rapids Legion Baseball on QCTV. baseball facility. Top of the fifth, 12-4 in favor of Coon Rapids. Jacob Califoot, the center fielder, leads it off, and we have a new pitcher here for Champlin. Caleb Greer is the third pitcher of the night for Champlin. He'll face Califoot, Campbell, and then Kaminsky, the scheduled batters. That's a ball.
Yeah, Greer started the game at shortstop for Champlin.
George is now at short. He's moved there from center field. This one will be laced and a base hit into left center field by Califoot. DeLong over to cut it off. And a good start here for Coon Rapids, as they have the leadoff man on with a solid base hit to left.
Michael Campbell, the batter now for Coon Rapids.
DeLong is now playing in center field. So he's moved from right to center. Or excuse me, from left to center. Meanwhile, Michael Campbell is the batter, fouls the first pitch off, 1 strike. Califoot, the runner over at first. Janisch holding with him there. Campbell, a walk and a double tonight. Fouls another one back, making contact on both of the first pitches here, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, he had that big double back in the third inning, the 4-run third inning for Coon Rapids, and they're going to need something like that here to stay in the ball game in the top of the fifth.
Runner at first, nobody out, 0-2 here for Coon Rapids. Bouncer to the right side, high hop off the infield, played nicely by Sandell, went to second but not in time. Boy, that high hop resulted in the runner Califoot being safe. That's the old Baltimore chop, as they called it back in the old days, that hard area out in front of the mound and in front of the plate. But that was something.
Yeah, that thing really got up there, and that was his only play. He couldn't have gone to first base, so he made the right play, but good hustle by the Coon Rapids runner.
So Campbell at first, Califoot at second. And here's Kaminsky. Kaminsky now playing at third base. Pitched in relief. Runner goes. Califoot, here's the throw down there. So close. Not in time. They're going to say Califoot got his hand in there and around the tag, in on the bag.
Well, he was kind of hung out to dry there, Jim. If the pitcher would have made a play on him, he had him caught, and then he decided to go when he didn't get a good jump. But I guess it paid off for him.
2 balls and no strikes to Kaminsky. And here's Coon Rapids threatening. First and third, nobody out, called strike, 2-1. After the 7-run bottom of the fourth for the home team, Coon Rapids trying to chip right back away here. Down by 8, 12-4. 2-1 delivery, runner at first going. This one's going to go all the way down, and they'll get the out. So caught stealing there. Runner at third, Califoot, has to stay put because he was almost certain that Champlin was going to cut it off, but they threw it all the way through, and a caught stealing. Runner at third, now the only runner on, and there's 1 out.
Well, Sandell was in the cutoff position, but the play was through, and George put the tag on, and that's an out you can't afford right now if you're Coon Rapids.
2 balls, 2 strikes, fouled back, and it stays 2-2. Little off the very tip of the bat on the swing by Kaminsky. And it stays again, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Brooks wind with the runner at third and the delivery inside. Full count, 3-2. 1 out. And Greer working quickly but misses. Ball 4, back to first and third now with 1 out. And the 8th walk given up by Champlin pitchers here tonight. And we'll bring up the catcher, Hayden McCauley.
Now entering the game, number 29, Jackson
Actually, we will have a batter in his spot, number 29, Jackson Otterness Cole.
That was
Getting
a
dark
healthy
here
hat.
in the. It's getting dark here in the press box. Jackson's the batter. Batting for McCauley, the catcher. First pitch, a strike. That one sweeps out of the strike zone. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, I'm guessing that they're not going anyplace. After getting a runner thrown out, can't afford to get another one thrown out. Champlin's hunting outs right now, and they'll take that out. Give up a run, I'm guessing.
1 ball, 1 strike in tight. 2 balls and 1 strike. Called strike, 2-2.
Greer looks like he's 2-pitch pitcher with that curveball and a fastball. Haven't seen a changeup yet. Be a good time to throw one right here.
Quick throw to first, close play there. Diving back is the runner Kaminsky. Kaminsky at first, Califoot at third for Coon Rapids. All 4 of their runs came in the 3rd inning. Swing and a miss, 2-2. And Jackson Otterness goes down, 2 down.
The shortstop, number 10, Hayden.
First strikeout for Greer. Still first and third. Hayden Lundquist, the shortstop. Another throw over to first. Greer showing off a pretty good move over there for a right-hander. Foul to the left. 1 strike, Lundquist. Ground to short, fly to left.
Well, Greer's doing what you want him to do, and that's throwing strikes right now at this stage of the game. We're in the top of the 5th inning. See if they can get him off the field and score a couple runs. And
1 strike, snap, throw down. Not in time. Trying to get Kaminsky. 1 ball and 1 strike. Both teams have used 3 pitchers here. Greer, 3rd pitcher tonight for Champlin. Berg started. 2 1/3. Then it was Brooks. Then Caleb Greer. Swing and a miss. Good pop on that pitch and fastball from Greer. 1-2. Up and away. Trying to get Lundquist to chase. 2-2.
when he misses high and away. Otherwise, he's right around the plate.
Greer back to the plate. Runner at first goes. Throw down. It's on the third base side. Not in time, and a run will score. It's a little double steal, double delayed steal. Kaminsky's safe, and then Califoot comes in. And, of course, it doesn't work unless that runner at second is safe. And Califoot scores, 5th run of the game here for Coon Rapids. So they do get one across. They make it 12-5. Now runner at second. Payoff 3-2 here to Lundquist from Greer. Checks second twice. To the plate outside. Ends up being ball 4. So the inning continues here for Coon Rapids with the runner in scoring position. Jeremy Birch will step to the plate.
Well, Coon Rapids is not going away. They're fighting, and that's all you can ask. I know it's been a tough season for them, but keep fighting. That's all you can ask. I mean, they're against a really good baseball team here tonight.
First pitch strike at the letters. 1 strike. Birch, couple of walks here tonight. One of the 9 walks given up by the Champlin pitching staff tonight. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, Champlin getting a chance to see some of these guys pitching that they're not their top 1, 2, 3 guy, but they're getting an opportunity to see what the 4, 5, 6, 7 guy looks like, which is what you need in this long season.
Yeah. 2-1 with Chapeau on deck. If Birch can get on, swings through that. 2-2. Just missed. 3-2.
Well, runners will be going right now with 2 down, full count.
Kaminsky is that runner at second. To the plate. And a bouncer diving at third was Carlson. George at short. He has a play at first, and he gets him. So Birch retired. They'll leave 2 on. They do get a run on the 1-base hit. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th inning. 7-run lead here for Champlin. They lead Coon Rapids 12-5. Caleb Greer, Max Janisch, and Tristan Wexeth. 5, 6, and 7 for Champlin, as they lead at 12-5. And starting here is Chapeau. Starts the inning and starts the batter Greer with a decent pitch. Comes with number 2, and that one is outside. The sweeper from the right-hander.
Looks like we have a new catcher in the game for Coon Rapids.
Michael Campbell is now behind the plate for Coon Rapids, so he is moved. That pitch was a ball. And that went off the glove. Be 3 balls and 1 strike.
Tell you what, it's game's over 2 hours, and that's when you're the Coon Rapids catcher. You've been squatting a lot here today, so
yeah.
I can see where they might want to change you.
And the ball right there at the feet of Campbell, the catcher. It's ball 4. And Greer draws a leadoff walk in the bottom of the 5th. 12-5. Champlin has the lead. They can end this one early if they can score 3 here in the bottom of the 5th. Janisch, the batter, bounces it to short. Snared by Lundqvist late, but won't have a play.
He had no idea where that ball was. That ball came off, and he put both of his hands over his head like, I did not see it. Don't hit me, please. By the time he saw it, it was too late, and runners are now on first and second.
That's, again, the sun shining kind of through the grandstand here. The shortstop, Lundqvist, he's definitely shading his eyes. The fact that he did snare it with his glove was amazing. And the first pitch here to Wexeth is strike 1. 1 strike. Wexeth, a strikeout, a fly out, fielder's choice. Got an RBI on that and a run scored. 1 strike delivery is in tight, 1-1. He represents the early game-ending run here for Champlin in the bottom of the 5th. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chapeau pitch popped up shallow. That might fall, and it will. In between Califoot and Sharp, that one had just enough carry. That one, they couldn't get to it. And also, 2, for everybody, they had to hold to make sure it wasn't going to be caught. Everybody moves up, and the bases are loaded. Little bloop Texas League base hit for Wexeth. And Champlin sitting pretty here in the bottom of the 5th. Bases loaded, nobody out for Cal Oakley.
That was some really nice base running there by Janish. He was almost standing on second base. He could see that was going to drop all the way. So nice job base running, getting himself into scoring position.
Oakley first pitch swinging, fouls it back with an aggressive first pitch swing. 1 strike to him. Oakley's 2 for 3, couple of hits. And it's in the dirt. Gets by Campbell, the new catcher, but not far enough. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Couple of hits this inning here for Champlin. They have 10 for the game to go with their 12 runs. Oakley takes a strike. Inner half at the knees. 1 and 2.
Yeah, a couple of hits, and it wasn't like they were roped anywhere. One was to short that the shortstop didn't see. The other one blooped into right, but they all look like a line drive in the scorebook.
They sure do. 1-2 pitch. Late swing, bounce it to the first baseman. Birch will have 1 play. That'll be at first. Run will score. Greer comes in on the RBI ground out off the bat of Oakley. 1 down. Run in. 13-5 Champlin. Janish to third, Wexeth at second. And now here's DeLong, who's now in center field here for Champlin.
Well, that was a productive out right there. Scored a run, put the winning run on second base with only 1 out.
Takes the outside pitch that snuck across, the breaking ball, 1 strike. DeLong a hit, a walk, and a ground out here tonight. Runners at second and third. 1 strike pitch, swing and a miss. 0-2.
Yeah, he was looking to win the game right there. Kind of bailed out on that pitch. Finds himself in the hole 0-2.
Base hit could end the game. Like we mentioned, second and third. Wexeth at second representing the early game-ending 10-run rule run. And this one's going to bounce away. That'll get him to 14-5. And now that game ender is 90 feet away with Wexeth advancing on the wild pitch.
Yeah, Champlin would love to end this right now and not have to send Greer back out there to throw more with this big weekend coming up.
And 2 more games tomorrow and Thursday.
Now you have to have your outfielders in close enough where if they catch the ball, they can make the throw to the plate. Anything that drops in front of them, it's over anyway.
1-2 floats over, but is low. 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Game-ending run is at third. 2-2 pitch. Missed inside this time. Fills the count. 3-2. Top of the order's on deck, and Brockton Sandell. Payoff. Bouncer played by the pitcher, Chapeau. He'll throw over to first. Runner at third wasn't going anywhere. So Wexeth stays at third. DeLong is retired. 1-3. And with 2 outs, here's Brockton Sandell, the second baseman. Chance here to try and end this one early in the 5th inning, or if Chapeau can get the out without the run scoring, extend that game at least 1 more inning. First pitch to Sandell is outside. Ball 1, 1-0. Sandell, walk, ground out, strikeout. A 3-run double back in the 3rd. In the 4th, a 7-run 4th. in tight, 2-0.
Yeah, catcher needs to make sure that he can block everything. Bennett behind the plate. Anything to the backstop, and I think it'll be over.
Chapeau working with the line to prevent the balk, 2-0. Here's one hit to center. Will it hang up for Califoot? He comes in, he dives, he makes a catch. Diving towards the infield, and Califoot out in center field, a wonderful play, and able to extend this game for Coon Rapids as that game-ending run gets stranded at third for Champlin in the bottom of the fifth. 2 runs on a hit, and they leave that runner at third base. So we go to the 6th, still Champlin leading it here now by 9, 14-5. Coon Rapids here in the top of the 6th inning. Jack Chapeau started the game at third. Now our pitcher here for Coon Rapids. Able to work through the jam, gave up a couple of runs, but not the 3 that Champlin wanted to end the game early via the 10-run rule. Swings and fouls that one back, and then takes a strike here as well to Chapeau. Chapeau tonight, walk and a strikeout looking.
Yeah, big curveball right there by Greer.
0-2, and there's another one. Breaking ball that breaks down, and Chapeau swings over the top, 1 out. Top of the order, Reese Sharp.
Now batting for Coon Rapids, the right fielder, number 19, Reese Sharp.
Greer works really fast.
I was just going to say the same
Sharp
thing,
had
Jim.
barely even kind of focused in. He was kind of looking at the umpire and turned, and he's ready to fire. And it's a strike. Another one. This one fouled.
And we're good with that.
We are good with that. Yes, it's always good to work quickly.
Your infielders like it too.
0-2. Hit pretty well to right center. But Wexeth is over there able to track it down and make the catch. Couple of steps to his right. Our left as we look at it. And Sharp is down quickly. 2 up, 2 down.
Now batting for the Cardinals,
It's an easy game when you throw strikes.
Yeah.
That's what Greer's doing right now.
He came out committed to throwing strikes. And he throws another one. He's focused. Determined. Steely determination for Greer. 1 strike pitch. And he misses outside. 1-2. Check that 1-1. Now 1-2. I wasn't predicting what the count would be there, Pete, just to let you know. 1-2 pitch. 2-2 as that one misses. Karen, a walk and an RBI single tonight. Getting around on it was carrying it off the handle, pulled foul.
He's a nice little hitter. Bats in that number 3 hole for Champlin Park. Seems to get the bat on the ball quite often.
Lifted in the air, right side. And coming in is Wexeth. Makes the catch with center fielder. Who's on center field right now? DeLong. DeLong was coming in there along with Wexeth, but Wexeth was the one to make the catch. And that's quickly here. That is our only 1-2-3 inning we have had in the game tonight here, if I'm not mistaken. We did have not quite 3 up, 3 down because Coon Rapids did send the minimum because of the pickoff in the first inning, but that is our true only to this point 1-2-3 inning. In the top of the 6th, Coon Rapids goes down in order. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th, 14-5 in favor of Champlin. There are your upcoming schedules. We mentioned Champlin here. Busy game, or busy week with games. But the game tonight, and then right on through the week into the weekend. And again, that pool play for the Gopher Classic, you're playing 5. You're playing 5 in 3 days, and then they got the quarterfinal bracket then starts after that. That's a gauntlet of baseball, is it not?
Well, I'll tell you what, you have to try to squeeze them all in during the year. That's the problem. Otherwise, you'd try to get a little bit of a break, but we're coming off a 4th of July week where kids aren't playing, and all of a sudden you have 3 league games and 5 Gopher Classics and maybe more. And the way that this Champlin Park team's built and with their pitching, it could be more.
Yeah, then after the pool play, they go to the bracket of the round of 16 and the quarterfinals. So out of the pool play, you get 16 teams that move on to the next round. And then after that, it's the quarterfinals. You'll have the bracket winners will play each other. And then the championship will be on July 15th. And it looks like the championship round will be at Veterans Field at Minnetonka here this year. First pitch swinging is Champlin's leadoff batter in the 6th inning, Luke Carlson. And he gains first base on an infield base hit.
Yeah, nice fielding play out there, but just too much speed for him to make that throw from deep short between short and third. I see Coon Rapids, when they open up in the Gopher State, they play Osseo in the first game. And then Yankton, South Dakota.
Oh, I had them. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong year. No, I got 2025. I had them playing. Shakopee.
Okay, that's just what I saw on the screen there.
Okay. I went online and found the spreadsheet, but who knows? So a runner at first here for Luke Carlson, Reese George. So Carlson at first represents that game-ending run here. In the bottom of the 6th for Champlin. And George takes a strike. So Reese George, a walk, a line out, a fly out, and a walk. 2 balls and 1 strike. That misses inside.
He's trying to work that inside edge here to George.
3-1, McGee on deck. Nobody out. The sun is setting here in Brooklyn Park.
So you know what that means. It means the Ducks are going to start coming in.
That's their cue.
That's their cue.
Chapeau, the 3rd Coon Rapids pitcher here tonight, delivers high, and it's ball 4. So George to first. Carlson advances to second, still representing that game-ending run. And it'll be actually Alex Berg is going to bat here in the number 4 spot. Alex Berg, who started the game at pitcher and was in this number 4 spot, will be entered in here and hit for Ty McGee. It'll be righty versus lefty, and a called strike. I don't think Berg went on that. I think it was a called strike. It's 1 strike here to Berg.
Got a chance to win the game right here with that winning run on second base. Nobody out.
Berg pitched the first 2 1/3, swing and a miss, 0-2. Following Berg, it's Caleb Greer, who is now pitching. 0-2 from Chapeau. Breaking ball on the ground to right field. That should end it. Let's see, Carlson at third. And out in right field, the ball is bobbled, and it's a 10-run victory here for Champlin, as it's Alex Berg, who started this game on the mound, makes his first plate appearance and gets a base hit to end the game. Carlson scores from second base. And our final here in a 10-run rule game, Champlin 15 and Coon Rapids 5. 15 runs here tonight for Champlin. A couple of hits in this 6th inning. So they finish with 12 hits on the game in the victory, improving their record to 12-3. Coon Rapids falls to 1-9. Pete, thank you so much. Champlin gets the win here. They continue hot, and as we mentioned a number of times tonight, both of these teams with busy weeks, and best of luck to both of them.
Yeah, Champlin has a nice baseball team. They're going to have a nice summer here and hopefully continue on winning. Coon Rapids, they're looking for some positives, and hopefully they can get a couple wins here down the stretch.
Well, Coon Rapids rallied. They were down 5-0. They made it 5-4. But then Champlin came back, scored 7 runs in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, and then the one that ended the game in the bottom of the 6th inning. Again for Coon Rapids at Champlin tonight. Then they host Blaine tomorrow, at Rogers Thursday, then the Gopher Classic. And again for Champlin, after tonight, they host Elk River tomorrow at Spring Lake Park. And then they are at the Gopher Classic. And again, Champlin is at University of Northwestern in pool play. And Coon Rapids goes to Shakopee in pool play for the Gopher Classic. Pete, good working with you again. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your summer.
Thank you, sir. Always fun working with you.
Probably see you at a hockey rink again.
I'm guessing that's
hopefully
probably
during
our
the
next
winter.
call.
So thank you very much. Thanks to our staff, everybody in the truck, all of our camera operators here as well. For Pete Hayes, I'm Jim Erickson. Again, your final here tonight. Legion Baseball, Champlin, in a shortened 6-run game with a 10-run rule. They beat Coon Rapids tonight 15-5. Good night, everybody.